So as I mentioned in the last video, we're going to go ahead and get started with the actual coding of some of our HTML elements. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to identify the two different types of HTML elements, and those are block level elements or inline level elements. Now all of these block level and inline level elements go within the body tag, and they have a few different characteristics, but one of the most I guess significant one of the block level is that it creates a block of content as opposed to an inline section of content. And I'll explain that a little bit more in a minute. Let's suppose I had two H1 tags, and I'm just going to copy this first one, and just beneath it I'm going to paste it, and in the first one I'll put block level 1, and in the second one I'll put block level 2. And when I save it and I go back to my browser and refresh it, you'll see that they're separated on two different lines. And that's what I'm talking about when I mention it as a block level element. It means that it's formatted in a way that there's going to be a line break or a start of a new line before and after each element, thereby creating just a standard block of content. And it's going to take up the entire width of its container. In our case, it's the body tag, and since we're not doing any CSS, the body tag is the full width of the browser. So the block level elements are going to take on, by default, the full width of its containing element. Remember, they can all be nested. That's why it's called semantic markup language. There are plenty of examples of block level elements. I'm not going to go through each specific one, but as I build out this document, I'm going to identify which ones are block level, which ones are inline level, and some of the more commonly used ones. I'll show you a quick example of what an inline element is. Let's say for whatever reason, within our first block level, we wanted to add a new piece of content, but we didn't want a line break. Well, one of the tags that you could use is called the small tag. And what the small tag does is it just decreases the size, the font size of the text. And this is an inline element. I'll just take that out. When I save it and go back to my browser and refresh it, you'll see that because this is an inline element, it has not added a line break. And so it stays on the same level as its parent. Inline elements are not going to break to new lines, and there's several examples of those as well. And again, much like the block level elements, as we get to them, I will identify the difference and let you know which one's block and which one's inline. And after a while, you'll pretty much figure it out, and I won't have to mention it every single time. But again, just know that block level elements create new lines, or they separate content into different blocks, and inline level elements are not going to do that. Let's create a simple web page without any styling. We're just going to focus more on the semantics and the difference between the block level and inline elements. What I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to use a very common block level element called the header tag. The header tag is typically used as the head of a document, or excuse me, not a document, but a page or a section of the page. Typically, headers contain navigational information, sometimes your logo, maybe even a login form or a search bar. But just know that headers are commonly used as sort of the top part of your web page or your web page section. Header tags should not contain other header tags. Oops. meaning you shouldn't nest a header tag within a header tag. Semantically, that is incorrect and it's poor practice. So do not use this. Um, you should not use the header tag within certain types of elements that don't require one. For example, the address tag is an example of something that you should not use a header tag within. Another example would be the footer, which we'll go over in a minute. Now that I've gone over sort of the difference of block level elements and inline level elements and given this quick example, we're going to go ahead and get started with a little more in-depth detail of some of the elements and tags that we have available to us. We're not going to set this page up to be a traditional type website. It's going to be more of a long list of these different inline and block level elements that are available to us. So keep on watching, and in the next video what we're going to do is we're going to start creating a bunch of examples of the different elements that are available to us. So thanks for watching.